Hi, I'm Hal Elrod, and I'm about to have a productive conversation with the one and only Mike Vardy.
First off, Hal, one thing that I want to say is there's a movie that I think people should check out. And I want you to start there before we go into the book, because I literally watched it last night just to
Oh,
kind of get
wow.
a sense.
Yeah.
And I knew your story, but to see it on full display
Mm.
it was impactful. So I'd love for you to share that right out of the gate.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think I've ever been asked to share that right out the gate, and I really like that idea. So the Miracle Morning, the book, took off and started selling. At that time, it was hundreds of thousands of copies. And my buddy is a filmmaker, Nick, and he said, "Hey, we should make a documentary about how this is changing the world one morning at a time." And I was like, "Great idea." So we start filming this documentary, and we interview a lot of famous authors, and like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and Mel Robbins, The 5 Second Rule, and Lewis Howes, Brendan Burchard, Layla Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter, who else? On and on and on. And and this movie's going great, really fascinating about morning routines and the power of morning routines. And then halfway through it, I'm diagnosed with a rare aggressive form of cancer and given a 20% chance of surviving. And I called Nick and I said, "Hey, buddy, our director," I said, you're never going to believe this. I'm in the hospital. My organs are failing. They're starting chemotherapy tomorrow. And we got to put the movie on hold." And after we talked for a bit, he said, "Hal, no offense, but this is the movie. Like, I need to come film you beating cancer, and we're going to inspire millions of people." The movie was already going to inspire millions of people to wake up early. Now it's going to inspire them by the way you approach this cancer. And he goes, "I know you're going to beat it." And I said, "Let me talk to my wife." That was not part of our healing journey plan. But you'll see, Mike, I mean, you saw it, right? You're watching this really cool documentary on morning routines and the Miracle Morning. And then 1 hour in, I'm recording a selfie video for my friends and family saying, "Hey guys, they don't know what's wrong with me. My organs are failing. They're running tests. Please pray for me." And then the last 30 minutes of the movie is me fighting for my life. Yeah. And so you guys can if you go to miraclemorning.com, the website, you can watch the movie totally free now. And you could also rent it on, Amazon Prime, but it's free at miraclemorning.com.
All right, so we're going to shift into my territory, which is night owls. So what I loved is, and this is why I want to get into this. We've got some questions about night owls and how they can do this as well. I'm going to take a bit of the reins on this to say that, as I literally posted a TikTok about this today, is that while this is driven towards, early risers, the 6 elements, the savers, plus you also talk about the miracle evening and the miracle life in this too. So those are additional chapters, and we want people to go pick up the book. So we're not going to reveal a ton of stuff in here. You can go pick up the book, and I'm sure we'll talk about links and stuff at the tail end of our conversation here. But for those that are night owls, that are wired that way, and you interviewed Dr. Michael Bruce, who's been on the program before. He was in the movie as well, and Michael and I've had a few conversations over the years. He's a wolf like me. He's for those night owls out there that are either thinking about, like, they're either going to try to become a morning person, which may not be the best idea. Like, let's be clear, it may not be the best idea to get up at 5 a.m. or what have you. Yeah. But how can a night owl implement the miracle morning?
I love that question, and it's a really easy answer. The Miracle Morning is not the 5 a.m. club, right? I like Robin Sharma's got the 5 a.m. club, and I love his books. I love Robin's work. But here's one thing that night owls share in common with early risers. We all wake up at some point during the day, right? Mm-hmm. Whether you wake up at 5 a.m. or 11 a.m., how you start your day is what's important. And the Miracle Morning is about starting every day in a peak physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual state so that you can optimize your mental and emotional well-being, your mindset, and you can be at your best every day for yourself, for the people that you love, and the people that you lead. And so whether you do your Miracle Morning at 5 a.m. or 11 a.m., it's inconsequential.
One thing that I took away from the book and the movie, and I'm a journaler at night. I love my evening examination. But there was something that when you were talking to UJ and when we were talking about the scribing piece, right? Yeah. Where I used to write in the morning, and I'm going to get back to that a bit, as well as my evening, simply because I set the tone the night before. That's how I begin my day before bed. But then, and you talk about this in the chapter about the miracle evening as well, but there's something about being a groggy night owl in the morning that I need to prime the pump a little bit, right? Which is something that I didn't think I would need. What is something and this will be kind of the last question before we wrap up. What is, out of all the savers or all of the elements, that what is the one thing that you've found that is the non-negotiable for you? Like, it's like, this is the one that I can't miss, I can't skip, or I give the little bit of extra time to, even when I only have 6 minutes.
I think for me, it's silence. You know, and what I do now, it's funny. I'm going to tell y'all something that I don't remember. I was talking to my wife yesterday. I go, I don't remember if I addressed this in the new book or not, but because in the original book, I was like, do not snooze. The snooze button is terrible. And in the new book, I think I gave a little bit of more flexibility. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I did, because what I'll do is I'll have caffeine. I like this little trick sometimes where I'll have some caffeine by my bed, either green tea, or this is a organic MCT coffee it's organic, but it's pre-made powder, and you can put it with room temperature water. So I'll put it in the night before, and then when the alarm goes off, sometimes I don't get off on the first one. I'll actually reach over and I'll have a little bit of caffeine, and then I'll snooze, and then 9 minutes later, boy, am I popping out of bed.
Yeah,
right.
Caffeine nap style. Yeah,
I'm a lot less militant over myself as I used to be. But yeah. So the non-negotiable for me is silence, and sometimes the silence is actually I'll lay in bed and I'll meditate and pray. Like, so I'll hit that snooze button, but then I won't go back to sleep. I'll just sit there and I'll just stretch, and I literally, it's my heaven on earth. I'm literally in bliss. I'm like, oh, I'm so safe in this bed. God, I'm so grateful for this day, for my life, for my wife. And I'll reach over and I'll, touch my wife and feel love for her. And, it's just a beautiful way to start the day. So all my silence will be done before I even go into the living room. And then I'll go right into my affirmations or one of the other savers.
And I think you can get away with the first 3 in bed if you really want to.
You totally can. You totally can.
Exercise, not some. Well, actually, I know that DDP yoga has the yoga that you can do in the bed where you're just lying in it. You could get away with exercise. But
now, if you've got a spouse next to you, I don't know how good your exercise would be if you're not going to wake them up. Yeah.